first thing is, we're pretty surprised when it ended up being Alien Covenant instead of Prometheus 2, especially because, you were pretty outspoken about Alien being, done, it wasn't scary anymore. So what led from that change from the engineers and from Prometheus into a more direct Alien prequel?
Well, that was said at the time when we didn't know quite what we were going to do with this particular film we're talking about right now. And what came out of the evolution of the story and talks with, I thought it should be like a colony ship going off into space, a bit like the forefathers going to the United States. And with that, I'm sure before this signed up or were accepted for the journey, you'd have some kind of pact or bond, and therefore it was called Alien Covenant.
So that's why the title and the ship.
Sure.
Okay.
They will go there, they will evolve, and they will form a new world.
Also, you thought that the appetite for the xenomorph was very much alive, wasn't it? You said
we found from Covenant, from Prometheus, that I'd left the xenomorph out and tried to evolve into the first step of how it begins again with that deacon. That's the precursor of what happens. And so when I look at social media afterwards and check it out and go, they say, good film, the film did really well, but they say, it's a pity, and they kept talking about the xenomorph. So when we're rewriting this new sequel, I decided we have to have the xenomorph in, plus all its attachments.
Something that I did really like about Covenant was paradise, was the planet. It was lush, it was green, New Zealand's a beautiful place. It wasn't another barren rock.
Yeah.
And it was a real visual breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Was that what you'd always envisioned the engineer homeworld to look like, or was that born out of the colony story and of the life angle of it?
No, the engineers are kind of, if in many respects, are just simply humanoid. They're just bigger than we are. It was originally taken from there was a discovery of the burial ground of giants on this earth, you know that, of people who are probably around about 8 feet. So one wonders, were they indigenous or part of the process, or were they something else? And therefore, it came that way, and therefore, to that extent, and physically, if you like, in our terms, godlike. So if you go back to race memory, and the Bible says, He made us in His image. So if we were our predecessors were people who came temporarily, landed and left, leaving behind a capability of evolving, then we'd be humanoid. They're fundamentally humanoid. I think that's close to the fact and the reality of where we are today. I don't think God is a guy with a pole and a long flowing beard and, flapping clothes. I don't think that's so. I think we're probably evolved an earlier visitation.
So, Michael, this is the first Alien film that actually features 2 androids of the same type. So, we're wondering, what's it like portraying both David and Walter, especially in the same scenes, when you're being physical and that kiss. So, was that a challenge from an acting point of view?
Kissing
and
myself
from a physical
was
point
definitely
of
not a challenge to me. No, I guess, what the main challenge, to be honest, was the fighting thing. To remember what the defensive side of the attack was, and to not get sort of muddled up, because it was very fast, short motions. I can't remember the name of that fighting technique, but basically that happened organically. The stunt team started off with something, and then Ridley was like, I like that sort of those chop sort of movements.
Right.
They seemed quite sort of robotic and very precise, and the fact that they were stopping each other, almost mimicking each other. And then the stunt team worked some more, and then we just had to learn that. That I guess was the hardest.